All right, everyone, it's Andy Hall. I seem to be alone in the void today here on the After Party After Show. I think I did links properly. I don't know. But sometimes this happens. People are busy and they can't pop on. So I have a policy. As many of you know, I do 10 minutes of me staring into the void, just talking about stuff, interacting with you on the chat. And I do 10 minutes. If no one shows up, that's my time, everyone, and I'll just leave. And then I'll do things like mundane things, like cleaning the house, writing some more comedy for my blog, Laughing in Disbelief, working on the secret project, the secret mind-blowing project that, and I'm not even kidding about it. There is a secret project. You've heard me talk about it with my buddy Jack Maturk on the late night show on Sundays. And yeah, so that's what I'll be doing. And of course, I have the job interview too at 1:30 today. Like, yeah, I'm not making like hands over fist money here on YouTube or on the blog. So I need a day job or a night job or any job whatsoever. Raging Atheist. What's up, Rage?
Hey, what's up?
You look particularly happy this morning, sir.
I'm right in the middle of making a video about the manatee, yeah, so I'm really feeling pretty good, and I just got a shot in my foot, so my foot is numb, no pain there.
Okay, so the shot in your foot, is that for pain management?
No, it's so I had an MIG to see if I had partial tunnel, and during the MIG they couldn't find the nerve that would indicate, if I have partial tunnel. So the only thing that the MIG showed was severe nerve damage in the right foot. It didn't show, it was inconclusive on partial tunnel, which is because they couldn't find the nerve. But so now it then becomes, what the doctor thinks is wrong. And he doesn't want to just give me surgery and it not be that, because, I'm going to be out for 2 months. So he gave me this, the shot into the artery in my foot down there. And if it's partial tunnel over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be back to normal. So in 4 weeks, I go back to the doctor and I report, if there was a significant improvement, then I'm going to have the surgery. If not, it's something else. But we're pretty sure it is partial tunnel, but this is like the last measure to find out.
Interesting. So I want to say hello to Tobin. What's up, Tobin?
Good morning. Good morning.
So
partial tunnel, huh? Carpal tunnel and then partial tunnel.
Yeah, but partial tunnel is kind of the foot version of it. What's happening is the main vein running from the artery down there into the foot is inflaming, and there's a piece of bone there that it doesn't let the vein go anywhere. So that's what we think is causing the extreme pain. So the surgery is taking a piece of that bone out so that vein can inflame and swell up and, have plenty of room to go where it needs to go.
Now that's interesting. Is it like cartilage that's getting in there and squeezing the vein?
No, it's the vein is swelling up because of my vascular disease.
Oh, all right.
So it's they're kind of going hand in hand with each other. The vascular disease, I've had it for 6 years. It's progressed, and now this is happening about 10 years too early. But that's kind of been the case of my vascular disease is very progressed. I'm way too young to have it the way that I do. So that's kind of been the standard with it since I've had it. And
you got COVID, and so that had to have accelerated the process, I would imagine.
Yeah, and they're not saying that, but the prolonged COVID is why I started going to the doctors in the first place. And we started looking at my leg just because I've been having leg issues for the last year. But yeah, definitely the COVID, I have 3 surface level blood clots in my leg that, they can't do anything about. It's not like Neil. Neil probably had a deep one that was causing his stuff. Mine are right on the surface, like you can see them bulging out. That was definitely because of the COVID. And the COVID. I mean, all the science is still coming back on it, but it does seem like any pre-existing condition you have, COVID is going to do some major damage there.
So I'll say hello to Kendra and Cryptomeria. Glad to see that you're here over there in the chat. So dude, you were saying that you had an MIG. What's an MIG?
Man, it was terrible, and I think that's what it's called. I could be. I left the papers out in the car so I could show my boss tonight. But I'm pretty sure it's called an MIG. And essentially what they did was electroshock therapy on my nerves to get responses from my nerves. And then they stuck pins or a needle all down my legs into the nerves, which was excruciating. Like the electroshock was bad enough, but the pins were bad. And then once they got into my feet with the pin, I jumped. I'm like, bitch, what the fuck you doing? Like,
that's horrible, dude.
I mean, it was like getting kicked in the nuts.
I thought you were just going to tell me. I thought it was one of those blood dye. You know, they shoot some dye in you, and then they take an image. But no,
that's what I thought going into it, because I'd had one of those. You know, just like a month prior, they gave me some dye, and it's like, oh, this is going to make you feel like you're going to pee your pants. You know, and so that's what I was expecting, and then I get there, and it was like, wow, man, this is a last resort treatment. I'm sure they don't just send anybody to this person because nobody's ever going back to the doctor.
Dude, that's wow. I'm sorry you had to effing deal with that. That is crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, there is kind of light at the end of the tunnel now, so that's kind of a reason why I'm feeling pretty good this morning. Is for the last 3 months, it's been just doctor appointment after doctor appointment, getting really no results outside of my lungs feel a lot better from the steroids they gave me. But my legs, it's like, we don't know. Like, I go to my vascular surgeon, and I thought everything was vascular, and there's like, nope, that's not vascular. So I had to go to this doctor, and then they referred me to that doctor. And so finally, 3 months later, they're doing something, and maybe for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to run around and walk, and I'm going to go play some basketball. I'm going to test the limits on how having a right foot again.
So they only did it on the right leg, your left legs.
The left leg. So I do have issues in that one, but nothing like my right leg. So yeah, right now they're worried about getting the right leg fixed. I thought they were going to do both, and I'm kind of glad that right now it sounds like the right one first, because I thought I'd be bedridden, not like recovering from both foot surgeries. But if they're only doing one, then I can just be on a crutch and walk on that left leg. So I kind of hope that's how they go about it. And I probably got 2 or 3 years before the left leg is going to be anything like the right leg is.
Wow, dude. Well, I am glad that there seems to be movement in a positive direction about the treatment.
Yeah, it's finally, dude, and it comes in a much needed week. I've been stressed out this week, so a lot of stress relief, and it'll be disappointing. And when I go back, because I go back on August 4th, if they tell me that it's not, if it's not partial tunnel and we have to start from from square one, that's going to be that'll be a pretty big blow.
Well, anything I can do for you, let me know. It's
I appreciate it. I don't have long, so I am making this Brett Keane video. But I wanted to come on because I haven't been on all week, and I haven't been streaming at all. So I just wanted to kind of pop in and say hello to everybody. Yeah. And when this Brett Keane video comes out, you're not going to want to miss it. I'm going back old school. I'm going to show Brett Keane as an atheist and why he got banned from YouTube. And I might have a G-Man rap.
I'm not talking about Silverman here, but I've noted that some people, when they get kicked out of of whatever community they're in, they want to go hardcore against it when they're they got beef. They have beef, and like I said, I think Dave Silverman is a case of that. Sure, he's an atheist, but he's conservative.
He's a perfect example, because I never really followed Brett back when Brett was one of the more popular atheists, one of the first on YouTube. I never followed him back then. Adam Silverman, I did. When I was a closet atheist, he was pretty much like the only atheist I really knew about. So yeah, like it's disappointing now that I can no longer be a fan because he's a douchebag.
Yeah, it's tough. It is tough. Yeah, dude. So how's the home building going, Tobin?
Oh man!
Hello, Tobin. Hello, chat. I'm gonna get back at it. So y'all have a good day. I just wanted to pop in real quick.
All right, take care, Rage. So how goes the house building?
Man, I'm just waiting on, like, the patch is just shrinking what is still wet. And last night I was able to step on it and not leave a footprint in it. So
Good.
it's like really, really freaking close to being to where I can actually walk into the place and like start waxing it. I'm gonna wax it. Oh, I'm gonna wax that floor real good.
So this is the for those of you who don't know, Tobin is took a FEMA trailer and is making what amounts to, I guess, a little house out of it, or making it a home. You know, and so you're doing the floor. And dude, the last time we talked, which I think was like a week ago at least, you were still. This is like a labor of love, doing this floor.
Yes, you know, I could have gone a couple of different ways, but in the end, I thought it would look really nice and it would feel really good to the bottom of the feet. It like, and if you build up clay is also conductive to temperature. So whenever it's really cool, it will absorb that cold and it just feels good on your feet.
Right. Right.
And you build up a layer of wax. So I want everybody to know that has heard me talk about this. We're not going to be walking on dirt floors. It's like you build up a layer of wax, and I'll treat it just like I would in a linoleum floor.
Oh, nice. Nice, dude.
Yeah.
D Parks asks, how's my cat doing? My cat's doing pretty good. She visited me this morning, and when I was in bed, and she did not attack the girlfriend's feet, and she did not wake me up, but she was just there, patient, just hanging out and purring. So it was not an unpleasant way to wake up this morning. So yeah. So do you have a do you have a timeline on when is the floor officially done? Is it? I mean, you got to wax it. I mean, what's the process like? How much more time do we have?
Yeah, that I'm kind of stuck in that same limbo. I'm not exactly sure how long.
Right.
Yeah, it could be. I'm gonna guess that by next week it will be completely dry. It'll be like a rock.
Right. Well, that's good. Yeah. That's pretty positive. I'm doing a job interview today at 1:30. And so making it more about me, this stream about me, I guess, because I'm a narcissist. I'm doing a job interview today at 1:30. The extent of my home related activities is cleaning up my mess, because there's a mess. And my girlfriend's been very patient with me about cleaning up my mess. So Ian Davenport says, sounds like you're enjoying the process, Tobin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've gotten into geopolymers. I even have built a kiln, and I'm playing around with making bricks and things like that.
Interesting. John Hudson asks, can you put a fan to it, or do you get dehydration cracks then? Yeah,
see, I made it really wet to make it to where it would take a long time on purpose, because if you just throw some more drier wax, it will just harden up, and you can't really, like, I'm literally using a rolling pin on the floor and just rolling out the cracks as they form. So if I put a fan on it, it would just like dry up, and then there would be no smoothing it out.
So basically, you're spending your day smoking a spliff with a bottle of whiskey and with a rolling pin. Do I have that scene right? Because that seems to be like the scene.
That would be pretty accurate. Pretty accurate.
That's pretty good. There are worse ways to spend your day.
But yeah, I am going to be very once this part of the project is done, I'll be very happy, because it has taken much longer than I thought it was going to.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. So what do you do? So after the floor is done, after you get this under control, what's the next stage after that?
Then we'll be doing cabinets and things like that, and we'll be basically getting to use it. And then I got to trim out the outside of the place.
Yeah.
And yeah, then it'll just be doing stuff in the yard and doing landscaping and things like that.
Well, I imagine once you get to landscaping, that means everything is more or less inside done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, dude, you have to come on. I'm intrigued. I want to see pictures. We'll spend some time and take a look at the project. Because like I said,
Yeah.
man, I'm all, the tiny house shows that are on TV, watching it all the time. And I'm a big fan of small living. The last place I had, my condo, was 585 square feet. And like I said before, I thought that was more than enough space for one person. I could definitely deal with 400 square feet. And probably 400 square feet is where I could be comfortable without feeling a squeeze, But I feel like I could probably do 300 for an extended period of time.
Yeah, I've always liked that saying that and I don't know where I heard it or who said it, but it's better to own. Oh, what is that saying? Damn it! Now I'm not going to even be able to say it. Now that I'm trying to think about it, but not owning the world, I'd rather be own very little and see the world than to own the world and never get to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
No, that's a good quote. Hey, what's up, Wild Eden from Scotland?
Hi there.
How you doing?
Dropped by to say hello. I was watching the latest Pine Creek upload, which I found absolutely fascinating. It was a discussion about two Christians who were calling out a church healer, one of these church healers.
Yeah.
And Pine Creek posed some really, really interesting questions.
So they were calling out the faith healer because they weren't healing?
It was the faith healer was Ben Hinney.
Oh, Ben. Yeah.
Benny. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not sure if I've got his name right. And it was his nephew had left the church and was calling him out, saying basically it was all fake.
Oh, yeah.
So there was these two Christian guys calling out this faith healer. But the question that Pine Creek posed, which I found absolutely fascinating, was, why don't you apply that skepticism to the New Testament? Which I found really interesting. And apparently that's a question that a lot of Christians might struggle to rationalize in their heads.
Yeah, indeed. For those of you who don't know who Benny Hinn is, he is, and tell me if I'm wrong on this, he was the guy in front of large stadium of people. He would take off his jacket and wave it into a crowd of people on stage, and they'd all be miracleized and cured, and they'd all fall over like in a human wave.
Yeah, that was what it was about. It was really fascinating.
Yeah. It's difficult, because at least this is how I feel, is that religion creates this emotional relationship with a person, right? An emotional response, a series of emotional responses, and trying to get the forebrain, trying to get the thinky brain to work around that or to attack it. That's a heavy lift for a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Osiris, glad to see that you're a member. Thank you very much. Yeah. And Paul Camish is here too. Paul Camish is trying to come in. Here we go. What's up, Paul?
Hey, how's it going?
You're in the
Morning,
shed
Paul.
today, Paul.
Why? What have I done today?
Congratulations on the England win, Paul.
Oh, right, yeah. I'm actually not interested in football at all. And to be honest, I wish they'd have lost because I'm dreading Sunday.
Sunday's going to be a madhouse.
Mad. It really is.
Yeah.
Anyway, I jumped on actually, Andy, to ask you a favour.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that you were a vegetarian.
I am a vegetarian, yes.
I think I do remember you mentioning it before, but it's something that didn't sort of like stick into my mind.
Yeah.
And the reason I've come on is I've got a friend of mine who's just started a vegan channel. And I don't know why, but every time you search it, it's really, really hard to find. So he's only got one subscriber, which is me.
Okay, so what's his name?
If I could chill his channel out on yours and ask everybody in the chat if you could subscribe to it and just say Paul sent you.
Okay. All right. What's the name of the channel, brother?
I mean, I was just thinking that, if there's anybody I need to ask, really, who do this for me, do me a favour, I thought maybe you would.
I feel a little threatened. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, I don't know why. I'm just asking you whether you'd do that.
I'm about to write down the name of the channel, and then I see Paul brandishing a firearm. Oh no!
It's called the Yorkshire Vegan. But what I'll do is I'll chuck it into the chat because when you search it, for some reason you've got to go for like about 300 different ones to actually get to his. And I think there is a couple of other ones that have got similar names, Yorkshire Vegan or something along the lines. So can I just chuck it in the chat for people to see?
Yeah, go ahead, man. I mean, you're a mod, aren't you? So you can throw a link in there.
No, actually, I'm not. No.
Well, you should make a comment so I can hit the little mod button, and then I'll make you a mod. How's that?
Yeah, cheers for that.
Just the magic of YouTube. Right here, you get to witness this all. The leveling up of Paul Garnish here on the channel. All right, here we go. Make me a mod. Wow. Yeah, that's right. You're now official. Paul Kemish is now a moderator. There you go, Paul. So you feel free to drop that channel. I don't really talk a lot about the whole vegetarian thing, but it's definitely I think about it quite a bit, and I've done it primarily to try to ease the amount of suffering in the world.
I mean, he's a vegan. He's not a vegan. Primarily because of animal rights, although it does obviously care about animal rights. It's more for his health side. And his channel, I mean, he just mentioned it to me the other day, apparently because I do this. He said, I've decided to do a little channel as well. Yeah. So he'd done like 3 or 4, and they're really good. He's done it really professionally. Seeing its first attempt, I was well impressed with it. So he said to me, he said, will you subscribe? He said, I know you're not a vegan, but will you subscribe? So I said, yeah, of course I will. So I subscribed, noticed that I was the only subscriber that he had. And I've just noticed recently, he just isn't getting anybody. I don't know why. It's just not getting drawn to his channel.
The shameful thing about social media is that you will see, and anyone who's been on YouTube or on other platforms will know this, just because you're good at the art that you're doing or doesn't mean that you're going to be popular. You can do great work, but people who are successful on social media are successful on social media because they're good at social media. And I know that that's around a carousel kind of argument right there. But I'm going to check out his channel. And if I like what I'll see, I'll put it on the Facebook page too. And see.
It is really, really good. I was well impressed with it. I think my wife's just hovering outside. I just mute myself. My wife's hovering outside. I think she wants to tell me something.
Okay. And then you see Paul pull out his gun. Paul's like, no, Andy. I can still hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, being good at social media is like a whole nother bag of it. A whole nother thing to work at. But that's one reason why I just do art and things of that nature for selfish reasons. I don't get wrapped up in really trying to please everybody or anything.
We're
it's
having fish and chips for tea.
what's that, Paul?
I said we're having fish and chips for tea.
You having fish and chips?
She says, I want fish and chips for tea. So, right, fine.
That's one of the things I do miss about eating meat is that missing out on a good fish and chips at a pub, at my favorite pub. I do miss out on that.
Yeah, I like fish and chips and mushy peas. That's what I'll be having.
Oh, yeah. The peas, sure. I can feel that. My girlfriend is she will not eat chicken or meat or pork, but she'll eat shellfish. She'll eat shellfish. And does she eat fish in general? I don't know. I think she avoids fish. That's what I think.
Right.
So she's not in the chat for me to for her to get angry at me for not knowing exactly what she eats and what she won't eat. So that's possible.
Did you say she's in the chat?
No, she's not in the chat right now. I think she's actually doing like her work thing, her data analytics and such. Her regular 9-to-5 job right now.
Right.
Yeah. So what's it like over there, Paul, in terms of COVID and everything? What's the situation?
Well, they're talking on the 19th to start easing the restrictions. Masks you won't have to wear. However, obviously you can if you want. I think social gatherings are going to be allowed, or more people will be allowed together. Events will be allowed to go on. So like different events where there's going to be large gathering of people, that will be allowed. I think there might be some certain events that you will probably have to prove that you've had at least both of the injections.
Yeah.
So I believe that's where it's going to be honest, it's been that long now, and it was changing almost on a weekly basis that I actually stopped watching it because I just thought, well, I've got no idea where we are at the moment anyway. And you'll hear something today and you think, right, I'm up to date with it, and then tomorrow you're out of date because it's all changed again.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I believe they're also going to stop the bubbles that they have with the school children, because they're I think they put children into like school bubbles. I think that's going to get scrapped, and there was even talk, and I believe it's coming in. That's probably going to be the 19th as well, where if a child gets COVID, then the rest of the people in the bubble or that was in the classroom with them doesn't have to self-isolate, which seems a bit of a strange one, but.
That is interesting.
Yeah, and also, yeah, like for me, I've had both injections. So if I come into contact with somebody who's got COVID, I wouldn't have to self-isolate.
Right. Do you know the vaccination rate over there? Like what percentage of people have gotten the jab?
They did say it's quite high.
That's good.
I would be lying if I tried to pull out a figure. But they did have it up, but they didn't actually do it by percentage. They did it by how many millions had done it.
Okay.
And I think it was something in the region of about 30 or 40 million. No.
Okay. I mean, and considering, the vaccine's only been cleared for people, 12 and older?
Yes.
And tell me if I'm wrong on this. The last time I checked, in terms of the population. Now, is that a number for the UK or just for England itself, Paul?
The whole of the UK, I think, is about 65 to 70 million.
Yeah, I was going to say something like that. So, yeah.
And that is the whole UK, 65 to 70 million total population. And I think the vaccination rate is, I think for the first injection was something like about 30 million. And for the second injection was close to like the 40 million. So they're almost there to the maximum they're going to get. Obviously, you've got so many children that are going to be under the age where they are never going to get it anyway. So you're never going to get 100%.
Right. So Simply Secular Dave says, so there's a new variant in Canada. It's Lambda. I have not heard of Lambda, but I will check it out. I'll see what's going on with that up in the news. So I imagine if they're naming the variants, do they just name variants that aren't that important? Because I imagine
it sounds like a college frat name.
It does. Yeah. Well, it's funny you should mention that, right? Because I don't know how many letters are in the Greek alphabet, But at a certain point, if there's that many variants and they have to go to like two Greek letter names for it, like the fraternity that I belong to was Theta Chi. But there are other ones like Sigma Chi and Delta Lambda Kappa Gamma. Yep. So yeah, at some point there may be a variant with the name of a major fraternity or sorority.
Yeah, I've just seen somebody's put on there. It's never going away. No, I don't think it is. I think it's going to be something like the flu type thing. It's something we're just going to have to learn to live with.
And it might mutate into something that's relatively benign, like, well, not benign like the flu, but at least less deadly like the flu, right?
Yeah, I believe that's what they were hoping for, weren't they? When the virus first came out, that's what they were waiting for, to see which way it was going to go, and they were hoping it was going to go the other way, so it was going to be less of a danger. But unfortunately, it didn't. It went the opposite way. But it doesn't mean that in the future it could bounce the other way.
Right. Dave says, I went to Omega Mu just for the parties. Of course. So, Paul, I saw that you were flying a larger plane the other day. You posted that on Facebook.
Oh, that's it's a Cessna 172. That's a 4-seater.
Oh, yeah.
Normally, I fly the 150, which is just the 2-seater aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a 4-seater aircraft.
Right.
I mean, I learned to fly in a 4-seater. It was a Piper Cherokee P-28 was what I learned in, which is a low wing. So when you sat in the plane, the wings are low, which is nice to fly because when you can see, you've got lovely view in front of you. But if you want to look at the scenery, when you look down, all you see is a wing. So if you've got a high wing, when you look down, you've got nothing obstructing your view, so you get really good views. And like if you want to take photos and things like that, brilliant for taking photos out of a Cessna, 150 or 172. But in the Cherokees, you want to take photos with that, you've got to put it into a bank or get into an angle where you can actually get a photo and see the ground.
Right. I'll take care of Dr. Osiris. He has to bust out of here. He's hitting the like button on the way out. Thank you, sir. Yeah. So this is it. I'm hopefully going to be getting like a regular 40-hour-a-week job. I have a job right now that's less than 40 hours a week, and it would actually be working in a kitchen. And so I don't want to count the chickens before they patched, but it looks like there's a good chance of me getting the job at least. So there might be more money in my pocket.
Right on.
Yeah. Not an exceptional amount, but enough.
I've just seen theoretically has just put in, can Paul also fly choppers? No, I can't. I have actually had to go in a helicopter when I was in the army. I had to go with a Gazelle, which is one of the army or the military helicopters. It's a really small helicopter. I had to go in one of them. I had to go hovering it, which I sort of got the hang of it. I was sort of like that, but I sort of stayed roughly in the sort of same place.
That sounds horrific.
There's a lot of coordination with it flying a helicopter because you've got your.
The way you make it sound, Paul, it sounds like they just threw you in the helicopter and just said, this goes up and down, and just there's pedals maybe. I don't even know.
Yeah, what they did is basically they said when you got all the helicopters, you've got what you call your collective, which is the stick up here, and then you've got your stick, which goes left, right, forwards, backwards, and then you've got your foot pedals, which does your yaw. So that basically moves a tail about. So what they do is they get you up there, and they just say, just move about with the stick, and when it does something you want to do, remember what you did, and just do that again when you need to do the same thing. I think that's pretty much how it works.
Okay. So another silly question. So did you have an instructor in the helicopter with you, or did they just say, just let Paul's a smart guy, he could do it, he could figure it out?
No, I was with it. He wasn't an instructor, he was a pilot. I just happened to be I was just happened to be there, and he just says, I'll let you have a go. I used to be part of the Joint Helicopter Support Unit, so I used to work with helicopters all the time, and obviously they knew I was flying gliders and whatever. And this one week, I was basically instructing the soldiers on basically controlling helicopters on the ground. So basically, you know, I am your marshal, and then you obviously come to me. You know, you hover. You know, come down and you know left and right and all this lot. So this guy basically used to turn up every day, and I'd do the instructing, and then we'd go out onto the field, and he would be the helicopter that would do the you know, basically practice what they learned, and he was basically the guy who would follow their instructions. So yeah, I used to go up for a fly with him, a quick fly about, and at dinner time we used to go fly off and go to a burger van, which was parked at the side of the road. We used to land in the field behind it, walk through the hedge, and go get a burger. The most expensive burger you could buy, literally, because obviously I don't know how much it cost to fly there to go pick up a burger. But yeah, we used to do that.
And tell me if I'm wrong. Flying a helicopter is very different from flying a plane, because a plane, you know, if you lose power, you can pretty much, especially a plane your size, you can kind of glide it, work it down. Helicopter is just a brick, right, with a propeller on it. Am I wrong?
No, there is a technique that they use which is called auto rotation. So if the engine was to cut, what they do then is they put the basically the collective, the one that you pull up with your hand, which is the one that makes you go higher or lower. That's right. Known as a collective. What that does is imagine that's the blade, right? If the blade was shaped like that and it goes through the wind, it isn't going to do anything. It's just going to cut through the wind. So what they do is the blade tilts. So when it goes through the wind, obviously it causes the wind to come down, which makes you go up. Right. So depending on how far they've got the collective done, is how much, you know, wind it's creating. So what they'll do is allow it to fall out the sky, and they'll put a small amount of collective on, which is then causing basically the blades to auto rotate, so they will spin. So as it's falling through the air faster, then blades are spinning faster, but they're not creating any lift. All you're doing is getting them to spin fast. And as you get closer to the ground, you've then got a certain amount of energy which is stored up in them rotors spinning. So as you get closer to the ground, then they'd start putting on more collective, putting it in, which will then create the lift, which will slow them down so they can come to a land.
So it'll be more of a controlled fall.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Interesting.
So Simply Secular Dave asks, are the hours going to align with the show? Restaurant people start early. Well, they can start early or late. And so I'm going to see what their availability is like. As you have all know, my policy has been to the hours I work now, you know, start after the show. And so I'm going to see. It looks like they're desperate for work. A lot of people in this area, a lot of restaurant owners are desperate for people. And so if I could end up closing, they start early too. They start at 5. So they may not, you know, because this is, I don't know. I'm just going to say that right now. I don't know. I'm going to do my best not to interfere with the hours of the show. But, you know, if you've been on the channel long enough, you know that we used to start, or when I was doing the show with Chris, we used to start at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then we went to 9 o'clock in the morning. So I might have to play around with the hours here. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, my working hours have all changed as well. I've just gone on to 4 days on, 4 days off. Those are good hours, though. I mean, that's a good schedule. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. The long days, because we're doing 12-hour days, but I'm only doing four days, and then I've got 4 days off, which is what I'm on at the moment. Tomorrow is my first day back at work. So, yeah, I'm going to lose a few weekends, but eventually it rotates the other way around so that I'll get the weekend. So, like this week, I'll be working Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then I'll get Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off. And then I'll do Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday off. And then the following week will be Thursday, Friday, Saturday off. Then it'll be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off, and then Saturday, Sunday. So it swings and roundabouts. So I'll still get weekends, but I will lose a lot of weekends as well. But, I mean, the kids are grown up. There's only me and the wife at home now. So, you know, do I really need to be off work on a Saturday and Sunday? No. It's good having 4 days off.
There is something special about being able, this is before the pandemic, because I would always have the mornings and afternoons off, and I would work the overnights. There was always something I felt sinful, a pleasure, hedonistic about walking around and enjoying the day during the weekdays, right? At like 9 or 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning while everyone else was at work. I found that to be, naughty. I'm going to use that word, naughty.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it does. Everyone else is going to work, and you're just like, bye.
Yeah.
But then on Saturday and Sunday, it's going to be the opposite way around. I'm going to go into work, and everybody's going to be going to see you, Paul.
Well, not that I'm antisocial, but there are tendencies. There are tendencies here. So if I can have days off when everyone doesn't have days off, invite, that's not always bad. My girlfriend, I definitely want to sync up my schedule with hers over the weekends and everything. So in terms of what I propose to the restaurant is that, I'd be willing to work every other weekend, because that's typically what they ask for, with like a functioning a restaurant is to have you do every other weekend, which I don't have a problem with.
Yeah.
There are definitely advantages to having the hours of where, the majority of people are at work, like having a Monday or a Tuesday off, because then if you have to go take care of other little responsibilities in town or in a city, even, it's less congested. You get to, be at the head of the line. You don't have to sit there and wait. I kind of like having weekends as like Monday and Tuesday instead of Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
And that's a good point, that, Tobin, as well. And what works out good with it is when you're working Monday to Friday, which most businesses work Monday to Friday, and especially like doctors or dentists or things like that, they work Monday to Friday. So if I need any time off to go to the doctors or dentist or whatever it's going to be, I'd have to book time off work to be able to go. Whereas with having these shift patterns, anything that I want to do, I should be able to fit it around my shift pattern. Even putting the car into the garage or something like that. Obviously, it takes the whole of your weekend up. All right, the garage might be up on a Saturday, so that's the only day you're going to get it in, and everybody else wants to put their car in on a Saturday as well. So I can do mine on my 4 days off when it's throughout the week.
Sweet. Yeah, that is a nice perk. If I do get this job, that's just right down the street from me, I might retire my car. Maybe. Perhaps. Because if I could just walk to work, that's been the goal, right? By car, I don't want to buy another car. I can't buy another car. My car's a 2007 Corolla. It's got 262,000 miles on it. It runs well, but the thing is rusting out from under me, basically, because it's New England. There's snow, there's rain, there's, temperature changes. And I already had like the one of the exhaust pipes, the main exhaust pipe, rust out from under me. I had to get that replaced a couple of years ago. So if I can avoid having a car, that would be pretty sweet, to tell you the truth, and just walk around and do stuff. Yeah,
I must admit, it would be nice to not have to rely on having a car. The only reason I've really got a car is for work. We do use it, but 90% of it's used for work. I just like the comment that John Hudson put on. I felt like I should. What was it? I felt like I should be working, so I took up day drinking. I like that. And then he works hard at being retired. Yeah, he's just drinking all day.
Yeah. So do you have a timeline on when you're going to be officially finished with work, Paul?
Do I have a what? Sorry.
Do you have like a date set? Like how many years you got before you get to retire? For me, I'm always thinking about, I'm only 53. I'm like, I think I'd like to retire in like 10 or 11 years.
Well, how old do you think I am?
Well, I have no idea, man. I think we're about ages together. I think that's.
Yeah, I'm 55.
So you must be thinking about it at least.
Oh yeah, I am. I would like to get to 60 and be able to go probably part-time.
Yeah.
Because I did 15 years in the army, so my army pension matures at 60, so I'll get a lump sum and they get my army pension. It sounds really good, but it's not a massive pension. It'll be a nice boost. The mortgage will be paid off by then as well.
Paul, do you get hazard pay? Because you were doing some pretty hazardous work in the military.
We used to do, it was called X Factor.
Yeah.
Before the TV program came up, it was called the X Factor. So that was already incorporated in our wages. So
okay,
it was nothing particularly high. And then if you went away, if you were married, you used to get separation allowance. If you were going abroad, you'd get LOA, which was LOA, which was local overseas allowance, which was like an extra payment for being abroad. Like I said, separation allowance from your wife. I think you used to pay something about £2.50 a day for being separated.
Right.
Not a lot of money, is it?
No. Simply Secular Dave asks, is car insurance expensive in Massachusetts? I pay a little bit more than $100 a month in car insurance, and so, I mean, that would be, as I have said many times, I'm out of debt. I don't have any debt. I don't really have that many expenses. If I could like shave down another $100 or so a month, then I wouldn't be unhappy with that. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but it does add up over time. Yeah.
Yeah. Car insurance sucks. Like I don't get how that is mandatory. It does not I don't see how that helps anybody. I really don't. I think there could be a whole nother way to arrange that and make it to where, people don't have to worry about if they total their vehicle or whatnot.
Yeah, I don't think it's just for that though, is it? I mean, it's the person you hit. You might not be interested in having insurance for your vehicle, and when you probably think, well, if this gets totaled, I'm not really bothered. But the car you might hit might be worth $100,000.
Yeah, and you need to be able to be responsible for somebody else's vehicle, which I disagree with. Even if you hit it, like I'm a person who is like, you live at your own risk. If you buy a car and you take it out onto the road, hey, that's at your own risk. If somebody else hits you, it's not that person's responsibility that hit you. It's you took it at your own will. Your risk.
Oh, all right. I can see your logic in thinking that. Not that I agree with it. But what happens if you had an accident and you hit a pedestrian and seriously injured or even possibly killed that pedestrian who was...
That is a whole nother ball game. But I do agree with the laws on that one, and that is, that has to deal with being I think they get manslaughter for that. It's not there is a punishment for that, but that's not like they take your license away.
Well, if you're found negligent, if you're found negligent, then that is a problem. But there was, when I was growing up here in Massachusetts, the state of Rhode Island did not mandate car insurance.
Really?
Yes, I shit you not. So whenever you saw a car from Rhode Island up here in Massachusetts, you're like, well, I think I'm gonna be cautious around this car. I'm just going to be a little cautious because I don't know if they're insured or not. And that's how crazy the states are, everyone.
John Hudson's just put on Death Race 2021.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well,
shit.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because you have the poorer families who are like having to pay insurance on something that it may not even ever apply. Like I have seriously never been in I've never been in a moving vehicle accident. I've never had a complete collision with anybody.
Yeah.
But I have paid insurance since I was 16. I mean, it's gotten cheaper for me now because I am one of those at my age and whatnot.
Sure, you're a safe driver.
Yeah, and that
Yeah, but I mean, just imagine though, Tobin, if you were to be going past a junction and somebody was to come straight through that junction, total your car, possibly even injure you, wouldn't you be happier knowing that that person is insured and your car is going to get paid for? If you're off work because of the injuries, there's going to be some payment for that.
That has nothing to do with insurance. That exact instance happened to a family member of mine, and it took years and years. She got problems with her neck and her back and stuff like that, but she had to do a lawsuit. The insurance in the end doesn't do shit. It's just something that we're mandatory to pay into, and you get nothing out of it. I get nothing out of it. It's just for me to be legal so I can drive and not worry about the cops pulling me over and giving me a ticket.
I will say this is that I will agree that there are too many, that the system is rigged in favor of insurance companies, right?
Yes.
Because, I think that's something we can all agree with, is that you shouldn't have to, because everyone here, or at least knows someone who has had to take an insurance company to court or had to go through a lengthy procedure to get what's coming to them while they've been suffering.
Yeah. They're keen to take in money, but they're not keen to pay out. And they try and find every excuse they can not to pay out.
Exactly. They're looking for excuses not to pay out. And so if anything, there should be rules and laws to, once again, governments are here to secure the rights of the citizens ultimately. I mean, that's in my opinion. That's what Thomas Jefferson would say. And that the government should be taking active stance to make sure that insurance companies aren't screwing the people that they're taking money from every month.
Yes.
Radical idea there.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Actually,
So, Tobin, would you be more for the insurance companies or for having insurance for a car?
Nah, those people. Oh, my bad. I'll stop.
My question was going to be is if the insurance companies could be reformed in some way so that they weren't as difficult as they are at the moment to pay out, and they were more eager to pay out and more eager to look after you as a victim of a car accident, would you be then a bit more happier to pay the insurance than you would be now? Or are you just totally against insurance altogether, regardless?
I'm against it being mandatory. Like, it's actually, if I get pulled over without insurance, that's, you get ticketed for that. And then, but if it was not mandatory and I could choose to do it or not, and if it actually functioned, then I would be like, oh, okay, this, I could see how this would work, and maybe I would choose to do it. But at this point, it's just mandatory. I have to, if I want to not worry about being pulled over.
I've just had a thought. Instead, do you think it'd be a better system instead of because obviously I have car insurance. My car insurance is more to protect the person that I hit.
Yeah.
So I could get what you call third-party insurance, which only protects the person that I hit, and I basically lose out. Do you think it'd be better if we all insured ourselves? So then if you decided not to have insurance, it wouldn't have any effect on the person that you hit or a person that hit you.
So in other words, you're saying under this situation, you would get mandatory insurance. It would be mandatory to insure other people around you, but not yourself, Paul. Is that?
No, it's because Tobin doesn't like the insurance system, which I understand his reasons for not liking it. So Tobin doesn't like the insurance system. And he doesn't think that it should be mandatory at all. My concern with that is the innocent party that gets hit.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's the living at your own risk. I mean, if you're going to walk on the side of the road, well, hey,
So what I was going to say was to fix that problem then, so that it wouldn't have to be mandatory. Would you think it'd be a better system if, when you got insurance, that insurance was for you as an individual, rather than the person that you hit? So if the person that you hit or hits you doesn't have insurance, it's them that loses out, not you, because you've got your own insurance, which is going to cover you for either the accident you caused or the accident that somebody else caused on you. Do you understand me thinking in that? So no insurance is mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
But however, you can get insurance, because obviously if no insurance was mandatory, but you could get it if you wished, then nobody would, because you're paying for the insurance for the other person that you're going to hit or potentially you're going to hit. Whereas in this scenario, no insurance is mandatory. But however, if you want to get insurance, that will cover you, and the payout will be for you for the damage to your vehicle or loss of earnings or whatever it is. So you then choose to get your own insurance. So I'm involved in an accident. I've decided to pay for my insurance to cover myself. The other person didn't, so that's tough. They ain't going to get now.
I understand what you're saying, Paul. So you're talking about like an atomization of insurance. So it's like I cover me, but that's it. Everyone else needs to cover themselves.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I've been thinking of that. It would more conform with Tobin's thinking, because Tobin doesn't like the fact that it's mandatory. I get what you're saying, but my problem with that is, like I say, the innocent party. I know what you're saying, that if somebody decides to drive, then we all take the risk. But I don't have a choice but to walk down the street where cars are going to be. It's just not an option to totally avoid cars out of my life. So there could always be a potential where somebody could run off the road, have an accident and get knocked into me, and I'm just a pedestrian on the sidewalk that gets hit. It's that person that I'm concerned about.
I'm just, because we're running up against the clock, I would say at the very least, on a sidebar, on the side here, is that there shouldn't be any insurance companies that are for profit.
Yes.
I think when you're talking about for-profit companies, it adulterates the mission of the insurance, what the purpose of the insurance company is to begin with. There shouldn't be a profit motive for shareholders to squeeze people for cash.
Well said. Totally
agree.
Yeah,
and there shouldn't be all the red tape to go through when you're making a claim. You've had an accident. It's clear that you've had an accident. You can prove that you've had an accident. You paid your insurance premiums. Yeah. End of argument. The insurance company pays out. You paid the premiums. Right. But how it is at the moment is whenever you have an accident or any type of insurance, the insurance company tries its hardest to find somewhere where you've made a mistake, you haven't filled this bit in, and they don't pay out. And I've seen that happen myself to people where they thought they're insured and they're not.
Sure. Well, whenever you try to access services, typically, or get what's coming to you either from the government or from a lot of the times from these insurance companies, they make you jump through hoops that are unnecessary and are just there to disincentivize people from making their claims.
But they don't make you jump through the hoops when you sign up for the insurance thing. They could ask
no, that's easy.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah, that's easy. That just sign here and you're aware. Just make sure you read all the small print, and you end up with like 12 pieces of paper with proper small print on it. And somewhere in there, there'll be something that you missed that relates to you when you aren't going to get a payout.
That's completely true. Consumer Reports here in the States, I don't know if there's something similar to that over in the UK. They are a consumer group, as they go with the name, Consumer Reports, and they don't take financing from advertisers or anything like that. And they go through. They talk about products, but also services too.
Yeah, we've got something similar, and I can't think off the top of my head what it's called. But yeah, if you want, you get a problem with the service you get at a store or like say an insurance company or anything like that. Yeah, there is a consumer group you can go to that, and I cannot remember. Right. It's probably a similar name to what yours is.
Sure. So Consumer Reports, it's a private organization, but what it does, it educates the public about products and services. And so, like whenever I made a large purchase, like a car, for an example, I would go to Consumer Reports and look at the car I'm looking at to see if it stands up over time. Or they also have that for types of insurance, like long-term care insurance, which is big here in the States, which may or may not be a scam. But Consumer Reports is, I think, the gold standard in terms of finding out if what you're signing up for is a scam or not.
Yeah, we've also got the same thing with companies as well. So if you're looking at buying something and it's from a company that you've probably never dealt with or whatever, there's a certain websites you can go on where there'll be a listing of what sort of report they've got, whether they've had bad feedback or good feedback.
Yeah.
So that can give you an idea on whether to deal with that company, especially when it comes to like small businesses. So you might have just like a small plumber or electrician company. So you can go onto a website, have a look, and see what sort of feedback they've got.
Always wise. All right, this has been an hour. Thanks everyone in the chat for showing up. Tobin and Paul, we have covered so many topics. A discussion about insurance, as well as how to fucking land in a helicopter when the motor dies.
And don't forget to subscribe to my mates, the Yorkshire Vegan. I put the link in the chat. Try and find it. Click on it. Help him out. He's a good bloke.
All right. Well, check out the channel, definitely, Paul. And thanks, Tobin, for coming on and talking. This has been a lot of fun.
And I need now to go get my fish and chips and my mushy pig.
Good luck with the floor, Tobin. Good luck with the floor, brother.
Y'all have a good day.